rebound, loose in the crease, slips over to the far side, picked up by Fritz, got it out in front, shot, goal! Ohio State wins it in overtime. So the season does come to an end for Michigan State in the quarterfinal round of the Big Ten playoffs.
Feel the moment, how empty it is, how disappointing it is. Because for those guys that are returning, we gotta get over this hump to get better. And we have to use moments like these as a means to help us stay hungry. We're gonna go into the off season and we gotta get better. And we gotta use this moment, the moment you saw that puck go in the net, the disappointment of that puck going in the net. We gotta use that as something that just burns in your stomach, burns in your stomach to get better. What occurred to me at the time was that the season ended too early. We're tired of the season ending early, and next season starts now.
Kind of puts things in perspective. You put all that work in that whole year and you come up short of your goals.
Yeah, everyone was disappointed, obviously. No one likes to end the season on that note. But I think that everyone was immediately thinking of how we're going to get better in the off season to get ready to meet our goals this year.
You know, after we kind of regrouped ourselves and got together, you know, there was a look, you know, a determination, you know, with everyone. We were, you know, pretty certain we were going to have a good summer and we were going to come back and we were going to be able to do some pretty special things.
And it's really about a mindset and a commitment to say, we got to start getting better for next season right now, and we're not going to lose any time.
We had the whole summer off this year to train on our own, and guys really bought in that time and did what they need to do to get ready for the season. Whether it's some guys are more conditioning aspects, some guys are strength aspect, and having that time on our own is very important.
When they came back, I was real impressed with both the commitment to their off-season training and the mentality that they came back with. And I think that's a turning point for the program.
You know, it's the guys that are staying late for workouts, that are coming in early, doing the little things, and I think towards, you know, the end of last year before we went home, and then definitely coming back this year, guys have been doing all the little things, you know, it takes to really get you over that hump and get to the next level.
I don't know what you want to call it, but it's that little bit something special that just is pushing us forward that little bit more to get that much better.
The mindset, the mentality, the approach, the commitment level, the culture we're trying to establish, that off-season training time is really important.
Ready! Ready! Attack! 1, 2, 3, 4! Come on, guys! Come on, guys! Come on, guys! Let's go! Here we go, boys, we're moving. Here we go, beast. Let's take it straight, Joe. Down, 4, down, up, 6, down, up, 7.
The program's nice because it gets you out and you do different things that you're not normally doing with your teammates. You know, this year we were out in the woods and carrying a whole bunch of gear, trekking through, doing different activities throughout the way. And, you know, it really forces you to come together and work together as a team, because if you don't, you look pretty silly. And, you know, we kind of found that out the hard way at first, but by the end of the 2 days we were there, you really saw guys, you know, working together and doing, you know, all the little things to make each other better.
It brought us all together. It was more of a team aspect to it this year, where we had to accomplish a mission as a group and everyone had to do something along the way. So I thought it was very impactful. It really got guys to see, like, there's a lot that goes on. Everyone's got to pull their own weight, and you really have to just listen to your leaders. They're going to make good decisions, they're going to make bad decisions, but as long as you have their support and you have their back throughout the way, everything's going to accomplish itself.
One of the biggest things we took was that one guy can't lead. He's got to have everyone coming with him. It's real intense. I think it's a great team building exercise. It's a big leadership experience for myself, especially I got to learn how to have a command presence like they do in the military and be a leader, so it was pretty beneficial.
Leadership development, team building and cohesion under adversity. That's the key part, under adversity. And that's the game. The game today, it creates stress. And the stress can be the speed of the game, it could be the physicality of the game, it can be the score of the game.
Slogging through the mud here, doing 8-count bodybuilders in the wood line isn't going to help their hockey game at all. But what will help their hockey game is all the little things, the things that make us that much better, how we communicate, the standards that we hold each other to, the way that we hold each other accountable, us falling back on our values, who we are as a hockey team, who we are as an organization. If we can do that day in and day out, through the grind of the season, the grind of practice, that gives us a fighting chance every day to compete for championships and get that much better.
You got to compete at whatever you're doing, whether you're in the corner in the third period, you got to win a loose puck battle to get the puck to the net to score a goal to win the game. It's the same thing of making sure you finish those tasks that we are assigned and get to the different loading zones is getting to the net.
Playing the game of hockey is pretty complex. You know, everybody's a quarterback when they get the puck. It's organized chaos in so many ways. People are trying to physically intimidate you, mentally intimidate you. So all those dynamics are going on, and you need to perform. And you need to perform in a confined space and a confined time. And so I think it's these kinds of exercises, both on the ice and in this case off the ice, that help you understand yourself better and the preparation that's needed to be prepared for when that time comes that you're called upon to execute. Well, it's a new team with a new beginning and new opportunity. There are expectations that we have within. We also know that our schedule is very demanding, so we're going to be tested all season. There's no easy weekends on our schedule, and that was intentionally created, and it's going to make us better. It will be painful at times, probably, but we know that we have to work our way through the challenges of playing good teams to become one. And so all of our guys have embraced that.
Everyone's been here for a while now, and coming in with a smaller freshman class than the years before, you're excited to make something happen. We have a good group of guys, a very talented team, and we're just excited to put all the pieces together and see what we can make.
Guys are really working hard on paying attention in practice to details and making sure that we're practicing as hard as we've ever practiced, because I think that's the only way that you can perfect things and do them in the games well and execute. I think execution's a big point of emphasis for us this year. So if we can execute well in practice and work that hard, much harder in practice in the weight room, it'll transfer over to the games.
And we're playing top teams like BU and UMass Lowell and BC and New Hampshire, and most of which are on the road, so it makes it that much more difficult. And then we have a nice flavor with some other teams, like playing some ECAC teams like Clarkson, and we're playing Princeton on the road on an Ivy campus. And then we get into the heart of the schedule, which is the Big Ten schedule, which will be very demanding, playing in fun but tough buildings. And then, of course, against our biggest rival, we get an opportunity to play an outdoor game in Chicago. So in a world-class city, great hockey market in front of a large crowd.
I mean, as a player, just all these experiences, you grow up watching outdoor games and stuff like that, and being able to play in one for a second time is something unbelievable and very special. And then being able to get out east to those other schools, it's a different environment out there. It's a different style of hockey. It's gonna make us, we're gonna have to play against different types of teams and different styles, and it's just only gonna make us better in the long run.
I mean, our goal is to finish in the top 2 in the Big Ten and earn a bye, and then win the Big Ten tournament, obviously. And that'll take us into the national tournament. And we also really want to win the GLI this year. That's a pretty big weekend for us.
We are going to today announce our captain for next season, and that's Michael Ferrantino.
when he announced it, you know, I could see that I had the support of my teammates. I could see them all look at me, and everyone was kind of looking for my reaction. I was kind of looking for theirs, and it really meant a lot. You know, every one of the guys came up and, you know, said, you know, absolutely great job, you were the guy. And, you know, just to know that I have their support and, you know, that they helped put me in that position really meant a lot to me. You know, it was a whole mix of emotions, really. I was, you know, excited for the opportunity, you know, a little bit nervous probably to have that responsibility. I'm just thrilled for the opportunity to be able to lead.
We have players complete a leadership questionnaire that has certain criteria and certain expectations we have of the people in those roles. And then we ask the players to list one or more players in a priority order as to who they feel meets those roles from their perspective. And we gather that information. Our staff has input on that, and that's how captains are determined. So very much the captains are determined by their peers, because I think that's the most important criteria of all. There's a lot of history here with a lot of just great players and great leaders. And so it's something that's certainly a terrific honor, but also a significant responsibility. He came to me and asked me for contact information for a whole list of previous captains, and I thought that was a great start. I also think that was a really good way to connect the present with the past. And so he's embraced the role, taking it very seriously.
But just to be on the same list with all those guys, you know, the Horkoffs, the Millers, you know, Smolinski, Jim Slater, all those guys that were, you know, such tremendous leaders and tremendous Spartans is you know, truly an honor, and it's almost, you know, at a loss for words on, you know, how it feels to be a part of that list.
Great crowd tonight. Give them something to cheer for. Everybody gets a hit, get engaged that first shift. Go 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I took a lot of pride in being a captain at Michigan State. It was something that, you know, came onto me really quick, and I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it, but looking back, it was being thrown into the fire was a great experience for me, not only as a hockey player and to lead a group of players, but to mature as a person in general. You take on a big responsibility to lead players of such a storied program, and you look at all the other guys who have worn the C in the past. It's a special feeling to be able to put your name up with those.
For me, it was very important. I think you know, there's such a big tradition of good leaders here, great players that, you know, won national championships here, went on, had very successful NHL careers, and you know, for me, looking back, being my last year the captain of the team was just a huge honor.
When I got the honor from the coach to be the captain, I was a little taken back, and I was a little bit nervous, but I mean, just looking at the history of the different guys that have worn it, and for me, growing up and coming here as a kid and watching and seeing the different captains lead and the success that the team had, I wanted to have that as well.
Over to Petrie on the near side. Yes, goal! Jeff Petrie from the top of the
Coach Comley told me that I was going to be a captain along with Nick Sucharski, and we actually happened to be roommates that year. So, you know, we sat down and had a nice talk on how we wanted to approach the team and how we wanted to bring guys together early on, and then just the tradition of wearing that, you know, seeing the past players that have worn it and come through here. It's you know, it felt like it was our obligation to pass down to the underclassmen what we had learned, and it was our responsibility to lead the team in the right direction.
The reminder that I have to keep giving guys in that role is, don't try to be something that you're not. Be who you are, because that's why the guys or your teammates feel that you're a leader. And so I just think he needs to do what he does, and that's communicate well with his teammates, that's set a high standard and a good example. Greg Wolf was really good at that.
One thing I definitely took for granted about Wolfie is, you know, how hard he works, you know, when no one else is looking. In situations where he didn't necessarily have to work hard, and he still pushed himself to the limit and really, you know, wanted to get better, you know, whether it was on the ice or off the ice, whatever it was. You know, those are the things I take from him. You know, obviously on the ice he was a great leader. He was, you know, more of a guy that led by example, and you knew that coming to the rink every day, Greg Wolf was going to be there 110%, and if you weren't going with him, he was going to let you know and you know, get you going along with him. So those are a few of the things I definitely learned from him, you know, that stand out right away. Whenever you walk down the tunnel there in the hallway to our locker room, you see all the great Spartans that were there and everyone who came before you, and it's a great reminder every day of, you know, the guys that built the program to what it is, and how serious they took being a Spartan and how much they gave, you know, themselves to the program. And it makes you want to go out and work that much harder and make sure that everyone's working that hard, you know, to keep that legacy going and really make our mark here. Just to, you know, walk in the locker room and see the C on your jersey, I was kind of, you know, taken back for a second. It was like, wow, this is real, you know, this is serious, and you know, I'm the captain of Michigan State.
Right leg up! Right leg up! Ready!
There's times you need to be loud and be vocal and get everyone, you know, juiced up and charged up, and there's times where you just kind of let guys do their own thing and you know, feel themselves out as well.
Reset here, fellas, huh? Let's go. Get a good warming going. Get the feet turning, huh?
Here we go, fellas. Let's go here. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
We're all over here, boys. They're hitting the puck drop for 60 minutes. It's all night. Let's go to work. Go green on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go green. All right, boys. Here we go.
We're on the horn. We're on the horn. I think it's going to come from the second or third opportunity. You know, getting pucks back to the point, getting them through to the net, and I think we're just going to have to out-battle them in front of their net to get one.
Good short shifts. Get off. Get some rhythm going.
Yep.
Okay? There are things that I will sometimes go to him to get to the players. Getting feedback from him, his observations of circumstances, what the tone was, and the mentality or mindset of the team, and can we improve it? Was it good? Where's it at? How can we get it better? Those are the kinds of things that, you know, you're constantly reaching out to see how can we get where we want to be.
So if I can poke it by him, I'm going to get it and go to you and let's just go. There! You're good, eh? Let's go.
It's a roller coaster ride throughout the season, even throughout, you know, every game. There's ups and downs and turns, and you know, you never really know what's coming. So you got to be able to respond, and you know, when things get too high, you got to kind of remind people, you know, hey, you know, this is, whether it's just you won one game or you scored one goal, you got to kind of get back to ground zero and keep playing the way you were. Or, you know, if things are, you know, take a negative turn, and you got to be the guy to, you know, bring people back up and get them back to, you know, ground zero and get us back to our game. Come on, sit up, let's go. We'll be fine. All right? I think it's, you know, being that balance and being able to, you know, notice when things are too high or too low is definitely a skill, and I think that's something that, you know, will come more as we gain more experience.
Walsh gets his first goal puck.
I've heard Coach Izzo mention it before, that he's always felt his best teams were player-coached teams. And when players are holding each other accountable, and more importantly, pushing each other, making each other better, I think those are the kinds of things that you want in a culture that helps breed success. Oftentimes, captains get letters because they're the best players on the team. Well, we were looking for guys who are leaders, not just the best players on their team.
I really wanted to have assistant captains. I think it's really hard to lead when you're on your own and by yourself, and so, you know, having, you know, Joe Cox, Justin Humai, and Travis Walsh, they all bring something different to the table.
Everyone sees the game from a little bit of a different perspective, so we all kind of bring our own little insight to it, and we all lead in a little bit of a different way where we're not really in your face, but if something needs to be said, all of us are willing to step up and say that, and knowing that all those guys have your back no matter what, it's pretty special.
I really am excited about the leadership group led by Michael Ferrantino that is emerging within the program. So it's to date, it's really evolved in a very positive manner.
I think a good leader is someone that's, you know, really easy to follow, that everyone wants to follow. You know, someone that the guys are looking up to, and you know, all whatever it is, whether it's on the ice, it's in the classroom, it's you know, in the community, in the weight room. I think a leader covers all aspects. They're people that, you know, you don't want to disappoint. So, you know, you try and hold yourself to the highest standard, and you know, hope that you're setting a good example and making sure guys are coming along with you.
I think leaders have to have that unique ability to be able to develop rapport with their teammates. Not a section of their teammates, but all of their teammates. They have to have an incredible ability to help bring people together, and yet at the same time push people when they need a push, support people when they need support. There's also responsibilities that you have at a school like this to represent your team with the media that not everybody has, and not every college program has the same level of attention. With the community, we do a lot of community outreach here, and our players are front and center in that regard, whether speaking engagements or whatever. So there's a lot of responsibility, but I also think one of the most important is to have the courage to lead.
You know, I want, when I leave here, to be one of the guys that, you know, helped turn the program around, came in a time of change and a time of turnover, and really, you know, took it from, you know, where it was when I got here and really take it back to the top.
I want to see a picture hanging on the walls in Munn Arena with him holding up the Big Ten and National Championship trophy.